Thanks for joining me for a whistle-stop tour of benefits realization tools and ROI. What you can see in front of you is a return on investment tool that was commissioned by Health Innovation East for an innovator, specifically in the area of stroke rehabilitation. You can see here that every single assumption within the model regarding the benefit that the innovation may provide or can provide absolutely definitively is amendable. If we look at everything from the utilization rate all the way up to the cost per patient and all the different buckets of value where the technology may be able to provide some form of benefit. These are all neatly boxed off into little segments that we can then amend in entirety so that there are no black boxes and no hidden assumptions whatsoever. So if we look at this technology in this ROI tool, we can look at the prevalence of stroke-induced paralysis. If we just hover over here, we can see where we get our literature from so that we have an evidence case. If we click that, we then go through to our evidence. So it's all neatly stored and auditable, importantly, so that we can then give this back to clients. Now, if we look here, we can change anything. We could say that currently patients with stroke-induced paralysis use 2 electrodes per day. If they currently use more electrodes per day, then the saving associated with using this technology may well go up. If the cost per electrode goes up, so they're not 2p, they're 4p, 5p, it goes up. If we can then reduce those electrodes by a higher amount, the saving goes up. If we reduce them by less, it goes down. And it really is quite simplistic. And the reason everything is completely amendable, put simply, is because every different client has a different setup. There's different local nuances, different care delivery mechanisms, different pathways, protocols, and importantly, different case mixes for these patients. So no two institutions are exactly the same. So therefore, you cannot have a cut and paste value proposition. We must be able to amend this based on local nuances. So if in a specific area we have a big issue with therapist time, it may be that they spend just 1 visit per week rather than what literature says to be 5 per week. It may just be 1 for them. And if we can reduce it by just 3%, 2%, we can see that value changing. So we're changing these assumptions in real time. It's not hidden and it's very transparent. And then we can change our upfront costs. So care home costs per hour, we can change institutional care per week, staff member costs. And as we change these, the ROI changes and the net position changes. And it really is that simple. As we start to amend things, we can see that at a price of £500, there's a negative ROI here. At a price of 0, naturally, there's a massive ROI. So that tells us that our price needs to be somewhere between 0 and 500. The key thing here is that this is completely transparent and easy for you to use in your branding. If we look across a different version over here, this time for training, in dementia, it's a similar picture. There's a little preface up here that says this is purely for assumption-driven example modeling and that it is not definitive by any means. And then we just change all the assumptions bit by bit. So we'll change this one based on this estimate and this evidence right here. We'll change this one down here and we'll amend this and the prices change. And that's just the way this works. It's keeping it super transparent to help you with business development. The important thing with these is that when you have your estimate of value completed, rather than sending these over in a really convoluted email, you can just pop them into a nice, simple, easy to follow 1-page infographic that comes with your ROI model. So you basically just drop in your numbers in here, 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 and here, drop them in straight from this model, straight from these figures here, and you have a ready to send ROI backed by Health Innovation East, which very clearly links back to your product with an offer of going through this so that your prospective clients can amend these figures based on their local nuances. If they're not happy, if they don't believe it to be plausible, if they believe they're different, let them amend the figures because then the ROI will change in real time. And this way, it's far more believable and far more transparent, and therefore you're far more likely to be successful.